This is how to write the perfect article in 2023 featuring the Google Helpful Content Update. But maybe you're wondering, what is the Helpful Content Update? Google says, the Helpful Content Update aims to better reward content where visitors feel they've had a satisfying experience, while content that doesn't meet a visitor's expectations won't perform as well. But what does that mean? It means that you need to focus on people-first content. So how do you do that? Well, firstly, you need to decide what you want to write about. Consider this. Helpful content is content written by real people, for real people. What the heck? Get out of here, ChatGPT! Thanks, Arnie. Anyway, firstly, think about writing about topics that you're an expert in for a specific target audience. This could be anything from beauty to cooking to travel, tech, art, sports, pet care, you get the idea. And answer people's questions in full. If someone asks a how-to question, don't just respond with, this is how you do it. Add a step-by-step guide, talk about missteps you've had along the way, talk about alternatives, add a how-to video, just give them a complete journey. And add real value to your content. Provide comprehensive and in-depth information about your topic and try to go above and beyond what other people are writing about it. Cover it thoroughly. Another thing you can do is provide credible sources for your content, backing it up with stats, data, studies, expert opinions, etc., etc. It will help establish you as authority on the subject, making it obvious you've done your research. Try giving guidance to people with how-to videos, step-by-step guides, advice, and practical tips they can take away and use. Don't just give them the information, tell them how they can use it too. And give readers your personal insight into the topic. If you didn't like something, tell them why. Tell them how it affected you, or if there's something they can do or buy instead. If you love something, again, tell them why, how it made your life better, how they can do it or use it too. A very important thing is to keep your content fresh and up to date. Make sure you use the latest info and update any old content to keep it current as well. Search engines like Google value fresh and relevant content over outdated information, so there's your incentive. And lastly, start a conversation. Open your comments up to readers and engage with them, answering their questions and commenting on their own shared experiences. People may offer their own advice or tips on your topic, making your content even more valuable to people. In summary, you want to leave your visitor satisfied, like this guy. Okay, so you have your topic, but what should your content look like? It should obviously be helpful, factual, and up to date, but also be visually appealing, well formatted, original, and user friendly. Ticking all of these boxes will help people find, read, and love your content. Consider writing different articles for different topics. Listicles are, shockingly, list-style posts. They are an easy way to structure a top 10 or most popular of something and don't take very long to write. Listicles are a great way to push products. Informative articles, or editorials, are lengthy pieces that go into a lot of detail on a chosen topic. They take effort and time to write, but are a fantastic opportunity to show your expertise on a subject and are a great place to effectively place keywords. News feeds are for flash news, designed to engage readers with the latest info on hot topics. They're normally only around 100 to 200 words, and you can throw a lot of images in them and get them to the front page of your website within about 20 minutes. Using a mix of all three types of these articles, you should have plenty of content ready to go at all times. Now think about your audience. Start with where they are. What's the local language and what slang do they use? Are there topical events, regional favourites? Check out local forums and social networks as well. Secondly, consider their demographic. Who are they? What's their gender, their age, their ethnicity? What's their income? Are they employed, self-employed, not employed at all? Do they have children? What level of education have they received? All of this can affect how and what you write about. Now think about their behaviour on the internet. How do they search for content? Some people might just use Google, but others may predominantly use YouTube, TikTok, and other social media platforms to search for content. Some may search by images only. Some may stick to forums like Reddit. Consider where and how to present your content to engage your target audience. And as you think about why they search, what are they looking for? Why are they looking for it? Values, passions, lifestyle, opinions, and knowledge, they all come into play. And you need to style your content accordingly based on the reasons people are looking for it. Okay, let's get started with some keyword research. Note down some seed keywords that relate to your topic. These can be really basic and are intended to be a base for further keyword research. Once you have a list, plug these into a keyword research tool to gain further relevant keywords. There are many tools out there for this, but some of the most well-known include Moz, SEMrush, and Ahrefs, as well as Google Keyword Planner, which has the additional benefit of being 100% free. Now you have a shiny list of keywords, consider how best to use them. Basic high-volume C keywords are great for awareness, but very hard to rank for, as everyone and their grandma is using them. Long-tail keywords that tend to be a string of 4 to 5 words or more are very specific but have a low search volume, so they're great for converting but don't gain you much traffic. Consideration keywords, where people begin to compare or search in slightly more detail, have a decent search volume and are a bit less competitive, so are great for casting a wider net. For best results, use a combination of all three, but don't forget about that helpful content update. Keep your content natural, don't keyword stuff, and focus on being helpful to users, because Google is watching. Whew, okay, time for a tea break. That's better. Now, the fun part. Let's write some content. This is a page title. It's the first thing most users will see when searching for something on a search engine, so it's one of the most important things you need to optimize. It needs to be between 50 to 60 characters long, as it will annoyingly be cut off if it's any longer, and that's just long enough to include a primary keyword. It needs to be unique and appeal to users, so really think about what will draw people into clicking on your content. This is a meta description. It's the second thing most users will see on a search engine, so it's also very important to optimize this well. This description can be between 150 to 160 characters long before it gets cut off, so there's space to place both a primary and a secondary keyword in there, plus a CTA, or call to action, where you appeal to a user to click on your content. Again, be unique and make sure it reads naturally. This is a featured image, and it normally sits at the top of your article before your first heading. It will show on your blog page if you have it set up that way, and will also sometimes feature on a search engine results page, like in this example. Also, Charmander is the best starter, fight me. Your featured image needs to be relevant to your content and be a sharp, clear, high quality image. Make them all the same size for uniformity on your blog page, and lastly ensure it contains an alt text, which I'll explain more on later in the video. Headings, oh headings. Seems pretty simple, right? Well, heading 2 goes below heading 1, heading 3 goes below heading 2, heading 4 goes below heading 3, you get the picture. But it can be pretty easy to lose track of what heading goes where, and you can end up with a H4 under a H2, a H3 under a H4, and you create a whole mess of tangents that both users and search engines will find confusing. So just make sure that your heading structure makes sense. Headings and subheadings help Google and other search engines understand your content better, while acting as helpful signposts for readers. They're also another place for those keywords and break your article into easy to read chunks. Nice! Now the content itself. There's a lot to consider here, so let's just dive straight in. Ideally, your content should be at least 500 words long, unless you're working on a newsfeed piece. Any shorter than this, and it's unlikely you're putting in enough information to really help the reader. Try putting in an intro and an outro. A short summary at the top of the article helps the reader know they've landed in the right place, and sets search engines off on the right foot when they crawl through your article. A nice outro with links to more relevant articles or pages will keep the reader engaged with your website. And keep your sentences short and easy to read. With all the short form content around these days, people's attention spans are much shorter than they used to be, and they will be turned away by long and complicated sentences. Also, break those sentences into short paragraphs for the same reason. Fill your content with a mixture of images, videos, headings, buttons, social media inserts, and more to keep people interested, and place them in an engaging layout. If you're going to present me with a 2,000 word essay without a single picture to keep things interesting, you better believe I'm moving on elsewhere. And litter your content with both internal and external links. I'll come back to that in a moment. Lastly, use your keywords. You put all that work in earlier finding them, so don't forget to put them in. So like I mentioned, use a mix of images, videos, socials and more in your article, and also try interactive media like polls, AMAs, quizzes, etc. It can't hurt. Remember when I mentioned alt text a few minutes ago? One thing you need to make sure you do is write an alt text for all of your images. These describe the appearance and function of the image, and will display if for some reason the image doesn't load. They're also helpful to the visually impaired, as a screen reader will read off the alt text of an image for them. Alt text also helps provide context of an image to a search engine. Sorry, Bulbasaur, Charmander's still better. You also want to add transcripts and captions to your videos, as these will help the video to become more searchable and reach a wider audience. They also provide an alternative way to consume the content, as many people watch videos on mute with the captions turned on while commuting to and from work on busy public transport. Lastly, it's yet another place to put your keywords. Here's another callback, this time to external and internal links. External links are links that point from your website to another website outside of yours. They're useful because they help point readers to other useful or source content, they help build connections with other experts in your field, and they help share authority between people's websites. Internal links are links that point from your website to another page within your website. Think of your internal links like the roots of a tree, all trickling down from the first page to another and another and another. They're incredibly useful as they help search engines crawl your website, they keep users on your website longer, they help point users to similar content that they might be interested on your website, and they also share authority between your pages. Use a mix of external and internal links in your content for the best results. And finally, we have categories and tags. You can set categories for larger topics, like in this example, seafood, meat, or vegetarian. Then you can add multiple tags that link similar content to each other, such as ingredients, timings, meals, or calorie counts. Categories and tags are ways to order and structure your content to give both a user and a search engine an easier experience in understanding your content. Alright, let's talk about AI-generated content, specifically ChatGPT. Whoa, Arnie, it's okay, he's not a total bad guy. Okay, let's not push it. While it's strongly recommended you don't use ChatGPT to actually create content, there are some ways you can use it to help you plan your content. You can use it to research keywords and then cluster those keywords into handy topics. You can generate content ideas with it, such as top 10s and what's popular or trending. You can research questions that people are specifically asking about a subject, which is great when you're trying to help people. And you can use it to help structure your article, asking it to give ideas on heading and text placements. Use it as a thesaurus, giving you ideas for different words or phrases to keep things fresh. You can even use it to help you write your page titles, meta descriptions, and alt texts. Lastly, you can ask it to proofread your article or even translate it into a different language, although results may vary. But for all these amazing things it can do for you, you should consider that ChatGPT is quite unreliable. It's only predicting what word should come after the previous word in a sentence, and it's not concerned with accuracy. It struggles with facts and is quite often outright wrong. It's also limited up to 2021, so it doesn't have access to any recent information you may be looking for. Another potential problem is its internal bias. It will subtly change wording from neutral to positive and will sometimes refuse to even give a negative result. Another thing of note is, no matter what people claim, AI-generated content can be detected. Google has algorithms specifically set up to target this, and these will only get smarter and stronger as this kind of content becomes common. Google has also said in no uncertain terms that content created using artificial intelligence is viewed as spam. Lastly, you have to be aware of plagiarizing and duplicate content. ChatGPT will give you what you ask for, but you have no way of knowing if you're copying somebody else's work or even using the same content is churned out for someone else. And we're done! You should now have a brilliant article ready to publish, and over time you can watch your traffic grow and grow and grow until you have a forest of faithful readers coming back for your massively helpful content. Don't forget to download our free content checklist in the description below to help you build your perfect article time and time again. Check out our other videos for more helpful tips and tricks in the world of digital and affiliate marketing. See you next time!